You are live on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review. As always, I am Nathan and joined by James. How you going, James? What's made you happy in the last week?
Oh boy.
You have a week to prepare your homework, James.
Yeah. My sister made brownies, so those were good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also joined by Callum. What's made you happy in the last week?
With our AI bot Alan in tow, he had to pick up some equipment for his work, and other stuff. So he wanted to go into the city, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll come. Why not?" And we ended up having a couple of drinks, and it was nice. And it was just nice to be in the city for a change. I know how normally I don't really like the city, but it was a nice day, and I just felt jovial to be there. So that was nice.
I don't like the city. Hot take.
Yeah.
The city's too many people, smelly. I don't like it. Too many people around, too much going on, too loud, too noisy, too bustling.
Nathan's not about that.
No, I'm not about that. Anyway, as for me, what made me happy this week was, I don't know if I've talked about it on the show. A few weeks ago, I took some initiative and I took inspiration from James's step machine. He has at home, little step machine.
Oh yeah.
And I bought one myself, which I've been using, and I've been finding it very, very good. It's a good workout.
Get your steps in.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like there's more resistance, so it's more of a proper workout than just going for a walk.
Yeah.
It's good for when I don't want to go outside in the 35-degree heat.
Well, yeah,
and I can just do it inside in a more of a comfortable environment. I've been getting a lot of use out of it, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's made me happy.
Cold, so
yeah, it's nice when you buy something and then you use it.
If you actually use it, yeah.
And it's kind of made me feel good. This
yeah.
week. We'll get straight into it. I guess
James, maybe we should start with James's opinions on Whistle.
Oh yeah, that'll only take a minute.
Yeah. All right. So James had the chance to see the contemporary classic that is Whistle.
I wrote it down because you guys saw it when you talked about it on episode 291, so a few weeks ago. I didn't want to waste the money, but now it's on VOD.
Well, we already wasted a ticket price for Send Help.
Yeah, exactly. I had to choose between where I wanted to waste my money, and I thought Sam Raimi potentially,
which is a fair play,
especially because people were talking about Send Help like it was like next level. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna gamble. I think I don't know if paid off is the right word. I think Send Help was probably the better choice to go and see at the movies, but Whistle was
not as bad as you thought it was going to be.
It's less interesting than Send Help, but anyway.
It's kind of funner though.
Yeah, it's more standard, slasher, yeah, like everything you guys said in the previous episode 291, pretty much everything you said and everything I gleaned from what you were saying and everything I assumed, pretty much that's just
thanks,
it.
James.
So yeah, so it's I think we know each other well enough, and I know movies and movie trailers well enough where I was like, yeah, I know what I'm gonna get, and I know what you guys' opinion is. So basically, yeah, just to echo that.
But you had a good time. It's a bit of fun.
It was. I would have given it 2 stars on Letterboxd, but you were right. There is a couple kills at the end which are really creative.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I gave it 2.5. Like I bumped it up a little bit.
It's because there's like so many movies want to go just complete bottom of the barrel, just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Whereas like at least Whistle has a little bit of initiative where it can kind of try and do something a little different.
Yeah, I mean it's not awful or anything, but yeah, I was like, it's just got every horror cliche. It's pretty standard stuff, nothing really new or interesting. The CGI is really bad, especially the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bit slow and wasn't particularly interesting. But yeah, then there are a couple of those kills later on where I was like, yeah, that is pretty awesome.
The car crash kill's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like, it was like, oh yeah, that was okay. It's like, but nothing really to write home about. Obviously, like I said in that other episode, like I'm always more harsh against these than you guys are. So you're a bit more forgiving. But yeah,
I think it depends on the mood you're in as well. Like I was willing to go out of my way to see something that I knew was going to be
a bit trash.
What we all expect Whistle was going to be.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You always hope in the back of your mind that it's like, this is going to be a bit special. And especially because now with CG, it's like at least some of the bad old 80s horror movies where they're slow and boring and like at least some of the kills are like practical and they're like memorable. But a lot of these new movies, it's like they got really nothing going for them.
Yeah, I mean, Daphne Keane was pretty good.
She's good. Yeah,
like
I like all
she's in her Sharon Sossaman arc. Do you feel that vibe?
I understand what you're saying because she's got like the sallow cheeks and the hair,
especially at the end with the hairstyle.
Yeah, but I agree with Nathan. It's more like the Winona Ryder, like goth girl. Beetlejuice
Chic.
sort of. Yeah. But yeah, Daphne Keene's always good, and I like the other actors as well. Like they're not the problem. The dialogue's really clunky and cliche. The character, moments is really just kind of boring and cliche. Nothing really memorable or whatever. But yeah, there are a couple of like gore kind of.
Wouldn't mind a sequel. It's one of those things where like I wouldn't hate Whistle 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's
no, you don't want it to go like full like. What's that franchise with like 100 movies when there's like
Friday the 13th?
Are you talking about every horror movie franchise?
Yeah, but I'm like what is it? There's some with like the Little Goblin or whatever it is now.
Oh, like Leprechaun.
Yeah, Leprechaun. That's it.
I mean, there's always like that, but it's like that's kind of the fun of these horror movies is you just churn them out and you come up with creative kills. The Whistle is kind of derivative of Final Destination, so it's like they made a bunch of Final Destination. As long as you can figure out cool ways to kill people. I was a little bit disappointed that it is kind of just a bit Final Destination-y.
Yeah,
and the Whistle itself isn't really a thing. It's just the MacGuffin, and there's no real Aztec lore or Mayan lore, and there's a little bit of explanation, but other than that, there's no.
You didn't give an extra star for the Beetlejuice house.
Beetlejuice house. Which one's is that?
Carrie Ann Moss.
That's not Carrie Ann Moss.
I'm sorry. Who? The chick. No.
This is classic.
Yeah, it is.
Callum,
We had this conversation.
All white people
we had this
look the same.
conversation. Who? What's the actress's name? I'm gonna die.
She was in. She played the mum in lots of movies and shows. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. Michelle Fairley.
Anyway,
apologies. Classic face blindness.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Beetlejuice house plush star.
It wasn't actually the Beetlejuice house.
No, but it's the same.
It's like an old white.
It's the same.
I thought it was like legit the same place.
No,
I
it's
don't
not
think
on
so.
like it's not on like the hill.
Yeah, there's no hill.
But it's the same architectural design
vibe.
Of the house.
Yeah,
it's the same
classic
colonial era. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but okay. Like if you've got nothing, if you're a horror like junkie and you've got nothing else to watch, we'll just watch Whistle on streaming. It's like.
What would you call the sequel? Whistles.
Whistles.
You could introduce more. You could introduce more whistles.
It could be like
the Whistle of Life versus the Whistle of Death.
No, you just have.
They cancel each other out.
You just have like 10 whistles in the town, people blowing it.
No.
That's the end of the world, my guy.
Yeah.
I would.
But that'd be cool.
Yeah. Well,
I would do like a TikTok thing. Like someone on TikTok's blowing the whistle.
Well, they kind of blow
like a smile style thing.
They can't at the end of I don't want to spoil it, but at the end of Whistle, they do a mid-credit scene, which is annoying kind of thing that movies do now.
Yeah.
But it's also has such big implications, like the end of Smile 2, that I was like, if they do.
Did we stay for the credit scene?
I can't remember.
We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah, we'll talk about off air because if you missed that, that's kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
but because it's like has massive implications.
The way I like to describe Whistle is it's like somewhere, but it's in the middle ground between like Clown in a Cornfield, and then like something more prestige, like maybe one of the newest Scream movies.
I think
Smile.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Clown in a Cornfield, but yeah, it's not as good as Smile.
No. It's like premium Shutter Slop.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe
not as good as
it's not straight slop,
Where Evil
but
Lurks, because that's like 10 out of 10 God tier.
Oh yeah, but that was like
but that's like Shutter.
That was but that was also like what an Argentinian
Yeah.
or I can't remember what country it was from, but
yeah.
So it was okay if you're a horror fan, like check it out, I guess, but it's nothing special. Yeah.
I guess I will continue on. Would you have any other new movies you want to talk about before we get into it? Anything new? Otherwise, I'll go into the new movie I watched.
I do, but you go.
I watched War Machine.
I knew it. I was waiting for
To be
it.
fair,
You saw it on my Letterboxd.
No, I didn't. I said as soon as I saw the trailer, I'm like, Nathan's gonna watch that day one.
I said that it's new. The people want to hear about it.
It's new, all right?
You know,
That's my defense.
it's slop. That's why.
So anyway, you get what you think you're going to get
Yeah.
out of War Machine. Look, I watched it really because Alan Ritchson is in it, and he's, big up-and-coming kind of action star, big boy out of Reacher. He's a rising kind of action guy. So I thought, this could be interesting.
New beefcake.
Yeah, he's the new beefcake in the moment. Has Jai Courtney in it. So there's some interesting actors in it. Dennis Quaid, I guess. But it's, one last grueling mission during Army Ranger training. A combat engineer must lead his units fighting against a giant otherworldly killing machine.
So yeah, it's a straight to Netflix.
It's as I put
action
in
movie.
to paraphrase my Letterboxd review, it's essentially just standard middle-aged action dad vibe movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's just story doesn't matter, action, end. And that has its pros and its cons, right? Because the action of the first 20 minutes kind of just sets up the story, and then the action goes mental for an hour and 10. It's pretty much action non-stop, which is good. But then also the CG shit.
That's what I was gonna say. So
And the alien, in quotes, is just very... it's just boring. The actual, the mechanics of the alien, I'm using alien in air quotes here because he's really just a
Giant
transformer.
robot.
He's a giant robot.
Yeah.
It's just very uninspired. So I have issues with the robot because they could have done so much more, right? It's something coming from an interstellar region in space. Be a bit more creative than just having a metallic ship landing and then turning into a bipedal robot with just guns. I'm like...
It's like Ed 209 or something, but
Yeah,
bigger.
But why bother doing something like that? You could have had something a little bit more organic or a material not made to make. It's just like it's a metal robot with
You
guns.
remember Nope?
It's
the alien design in Nope. That was inspired.
do something like that where
Jean jacket.
visually the alien should have been more interesting. Instead, it looks like something. It has vents. It has, you know what I mean? It's like it looks man-made.
Yeah.
Its mechanics are how we would build a robot.
Well, I thought that was going to be the twist at the end, that it was like, oh, this is actually the army testing
Well,
its new
Look,
robot.
I'm not spoiling anything, but that's not how it ends, right? But it possibly should have been.
I mean,
and
either way,
it would have been a better critique on militarism and
yeah.
and like what a life is worth.
We got the best robots, folks.
We got the best robots, the best killing machine.
God,
Yeah,
don't even joke, because it's literally happening right now.
But yeah, like that would have been a more interesting ending probably if it turned out that it was the militaries and they're just guinea pigs or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That could have been a more interesting ending because it could have had a message about, essentially life is meaningless in war and all that kind of stuff. But instead, no, it's literally an alien being from space, and he's just in what looks to be a man-designed robot, which I have issues. I just have a whole bunch of issues with
And
the
it
robot.
just decides to kill people just cause. Why not?
Pretty much. Well, no, they tried blowing him up first, but
Okay.
Classic American military.
Yeah. That's what, yeah.
to be fair, they're on a training mission, and they're meant to blow up a fake ship, and so they assume this is the fake ship, and they're blowing up, and the robot's like, "Hey."
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. But anyway, it wouldn't have mattered because it's like a worldwide invasion-y kind of thing, like a War of the Worlds. So it's like he would have tried to kill them.
Oh, really? At the end, it's like, oh no, there's more.
Yeah, it's mild spoilers, but
Who cares?
Who cares?
I know, I don't want to be mean, but if you're watching this, you know what you're getting into. It's
But
Netflix slop. They AI generated this script and then just farted it out on a green screen.
On the positives, though, as I said, it is action packed. Pretty much after the setup, it goes nuts for like an hour.
Yeah,
Just constant action.
Every time I came down and saw the TV, there was like guns going off.
Yeah,
so.
which is cool.
Yeah,
and it's premium dad energy movie, right? It's guns.
Yeah,
and it's
I mean, I love
explosions.
action
Yeah.
movies, but action movies don't mean the same
No.
thing as they used to.
No. I'm not saying.
Even
I'm
when
not
it's
saying it's a
action-
classic action movie.
Yeah, like even when it's an action-packed movie that most of the runtime is running and shooting, it's like it's not like how it used to be, where it's like
No.
actually cool and
Definitely not.
like practical stunts and explosions.
But I mean, if you're one of those people, you want to watch a movie, you want to sit down, you just want to watch some like real strong guys without shirts shooting things and explosions
Yeah,
happening,
if
then you're probably gonna have a good time.
if you're a 50 or 60-year-old dad
Yeah, that's
who's surfing Netflix, this is for you.
100%.
Actually, I should check
And
if
you
my
know
dad watched because
He
he loves.
probably would love
My
it,
dad
yeah.
loves robots, and all he has is Netflix.
Honestly,
so he just
your dad is the target demographic
Yeah.
for War Machine.
And also, that's how they make their money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Yeah, it's like why all these? Yeah,
So it's like I had a lot of problems with this movie, but it is Mr. Yasimovich energy.
how many stars did you give it on Letterboxd?
I gave it 3 because it does like they try with what they've got. And
Yeah.
look, what they got is not great. But Alan Richardson gives his, you know what, he's trying real hard in that movie, right?
I'm gonna translate it, and I haven't seen the movie, but I'm gonna translate it. I'll probably give it a 2.
Ed gave it 3.
Yeah, but Ed's a weird movie rater.
Friend of the show, Ed.
Yeah,
is,
he has very weird
he
rating standards.
He's a man of taste.
I disagree.
He's a man of opinions.
Especially, yeah.
So look, you know, I think I gave it some extra points definitely because the cast tries, like, you know, there's the spirit of what they want to do in this movie, if not executed very well. Yeah. So what have you got for us, James? You had something new to talk about?
Oh, well, I don't know if we should talk about because it's a real bummer.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What film is it?
The Voice of Hind Rajab. Have you heard of this?
I've seen it advertised.
Is it on VOD?
No, I think
it just came out here.
They were showing it at the Brunswick and other
Yes,
associated
I saw it
venues.
at the Nova.
We'll
I'll give a quick synopsis and my review, and then we'll move on.
As far as I know, it's just about real life pain.
It's a very good movie, but it's very dark, and I didn't want to bring the whole show down.
Mate, we're already down. Just get on with it.
But yeah, I mean, it's already. So the movie is called The Voice of Hind Rajab. It's based on a true story that came out that happened a couple of years ago, and it's a fictionalized dramatization, a movie of those events. But what happened was in Palestine, there was a little girl, a 6-year-old girl called Hind Rajab, and her family were attacked by the IDF. And the little girl was the only one to survive. So she's trapped in the car while the IDF are firing at her. And she's on the phone with the Palestinian emergency services and being like, you know, can you come save me? And it's basically like a race against time kind of thriller where these emergency service workers are on the phone with her, trying to keep her calm, trying to figure out where she is, and also trying to organize to get an ambulance to her while going through all the red tape of we have to coordinate with the Red Cross and the army and so we can get our ambulance there. Meanwhile, the soldiers are still there firing at her. And so it's like this really, and the thing of the movie is they actually use the real voice recordings of the phone call. So it's
Heavy.
it's a harrowing story already, but then when you're listening to Hind on the phone, that's actually her real voice. And when you hear gunshots and when you hear the responses and stuff, a lot of it is the actual recordings. And then they just kind of dramatized the actors responding to it. But even then there's some cell phone footage that's actually real footage. So there's a little bit of a documentary angle to it. But it is like a fictional movie. It was very good. But yeah, it's just very heavy and very sad. And unfortunately, we live in this world that we live in.
I remember there was a documentary released a while ago now. I think it was a documentary set in Palestine.
I know. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I forgot what it's called, but I watched it.
But the gentleman who made it ended up passing away in Palestine because of what was going on.
Yeah.
And it must be so difficult to create documentaries on that subject, not just because of the actual events occurring in the area, but also the political lens that people want to view it through. Do you remember when The Zone of Interest was winning all the awards and everyone's turning their nose up at it? And it's okay, I understand that for some people it's it's a politically inconvenient thing to think about.
Yeah.
But art is art. And it's if you can't approach a documentary or a film on the terms that it deserves to be approached at, what do you even watch?
Well, it's even using another recent-ish example when Louis Theroux and the Settlers, you know, he goes and he just visits these people and he doesn't ask leading questions. He just lets them talk,
Hmm.
and people make themselves look bad in the documentary. He doesn't do anything wrong, and then he'll release this, and people come out and say it's anti-Semitic, and he just is like, "What exactly? Point to me exactly what I did wrong."
Exactly.
And it's like, well, the whole documentary is a problem. Like, no, it's a problem because the people are making themselves look bad. It's not on the documentary making
It's
themselves.
the problem we've discussed, every day for the last 10 plus years. It's that literally you can just show the truth and like that's like the truth doesn't matter anymore because people can say, well, you're this, that, and the other. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter what you do. There are people who
there's an interesting thing. So if you live in Israel, like the publication Haaretz will publish something like super critical of the government, and then like if you were to like say that to someone in like who like for Western media, that's like, oh no, that's a lie. But then like because there's like a divide between like local Israeli media and then like the Western media. So like the local Israelis, they have a pretty good understanding of all that's going on. But then not all of it gets transferred to the Western media, and like the Western media will cherry pick what sources they think are valid and that kind of thing. So it's one of those things where you release a documentary and everyone's going to say, oh no, it's not real. But then you can go and see local media of repute talking about this exact thing and everyone's like, oh, don't worry about that.
Yeah, because it's different than there's the Zionist lobby that has sort of...
That's one thing that the far-right Israeli governments have done really well, which is to export kind of hard right lobbies.
Yeah. And export that around the world, so all Western media outlets are just parroting those lines. When in reality, if you can actually literally see videos of this stuff
and it's
going on, and we're told, oh no, it's not happening, or it's not.
It gets back to the point of what you were just talking about, where it's like you can watch a documentary like this, which is literally the objective truth, and then it can get spun into propaganda. It's like, and people can say, oh, that's just propaganda, or that's, or that's just one thing or the other. But that's, all you're doing is, you're just showing the truth. You're showing an event, and people spin it to suit their own agenda.
Yeah, this movie is obviously, there's a fictionalized element to it, but it's literally got the real life stuff in it. And then that's not, on top of that, we've actually got actual documentaries and actual real life footage and live stream. We literally have live streams. Of this stuff happening as it's happening.
And people bragging about stuff online.
Yeah.
It also comes back to a certain extent, like we always say, to media literacy too, where people can watch something and not read it the right way, or they feel like, oh, you must have an angle, it must, you must be. But let's, in this case, what's the perspective from the soldiers? I want to hear from the soldiers.
Yeah, shooting at a little girl.
Like,
I really want to hear from them.
Yeah, there's that element of it.
You wouldn't want to know what they say.
No, I know what they'll say. But they post it on social media, and then when you say, hey, why'd you say that's crazy? They're like, no, I didn't.
Yeah. But there's that point of it too. Where
we live in Trump world. Nothing matters.
We'll move on because we'll just
move
rant on. But it's that whole enlightened centrism that's the problem. We'll move on.
This is why I didn't want to bring it up.
No, I think it's helpful to talk about these films though.
Yeah, no, 100%.
100%.
And it's I think.
And just because the movie's sad doesn't mean you can't review it.
I think we talked about it one time, where it's like just because a movie is very heavy, or it's like.
Sometimes that's a good reason to watch it.
People sometimes need to see this stuff.
So people need their views challenged.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not saying, obviously, we're not saying go watch a movie that, will trigger you or might be traumatic in some way. But people shouldn't necessarily exist in their own media bubble. Like, try something different.
Yeah.
Get freaky with it.
Or harrowing.
Get harrowed with it.
Yeah.
We might go to a very quick break before we come back with maybe a classic discussion. We'll be back right after this. You are back on the Tuesday review. Keeping it positive now. We're back from the break.
What do you got?
I watched The Wicker Man for the first time.
My God. I know what you mean by keeping it positive, but that's not exactly a positive movie.
No, but it's a positive review.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I watched The Wicker Man from 1973, and oh my God.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Oh, you have. You'd
Man,
love it.
I won't go into spoilers.
Well, there's a whole bunch of movies that I might have seen pre-2009 that I just don't. It's just gone. So.
I was going to make fun of your memory, but I won't.
But
stress destroys memories.
Yeah.
But The Wicker Man from 1973 is probably one of the best horror movies ever made.
That, and also it's probably the best folk horror movie ever made.
It kickstarted the whole genre.
Yeah, pretty much.
But another Christopher Lee classic.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't believe I'd never seen this movie before, and I watched it, and I loved every minute of it. It was more dangerous and weird than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Like, it's when you watch some of these older movies, especially the ones that have modern remakes, you just assume subconsciously that, oh, you know, it's like it must be quaint. It must be kind of a little like tame in today's kind of comparison with today, because they're doing a modern remake, right? That's how I could approach it. I'm like, oh, you know, why are they bringing it up to date? Maybe it doesn't hold up. And then I watched it and I was blown away.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing with remakes is most of them don't need to exist because the original movie is
Apart from the thing.
What'd you say?
Apart from the thing. Continue, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, but that there are exceptions, but most movies don't need to be remade because the original was a classic or influential for a reason. And if you're redoing it, you're literally just trying to recapture you're trying to get the money off the brand recognition. You're not going to be able to recapture that. And yeah, I mean, especially in the case of The Wicker Man, where the American remake with Nick Cage has just become a meme because it is literally
bees.
Yeah, not the bees.
I've seen that, and I wasn't a fan.
If you're listening and you haven't seen either Wicker Man, do not watch the remake with Nick Cage. It's not even worth watching it for the like funny, like it's so bad it's good element.
Watch the original instead.
Yeah, the original is a classic. It's up there, like. When it came out, 73?
Yeah.
Same year as The Exorcist, right? Like, it's up there with those classic 70s horror movies. But also, it's got this... it's a British movie, so it's got this, British folklore kind of thing, which, we've talked about before. That's really cool, like the Green Man and all this kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
That lends a different
it's like a mystical element.
Yeah, there's all this pagan rituals and all this cool stuff. So yeah,
I loved everything about it. I love Neil Howie being the kind of the detective visiting a remote island to find a missing girl. Already you've got a good kind of premise. And then it's like the village doesn't want to help him, or they pretend to help him by throwing him on the wrong track. But he's a smart cookie. Yeah. So he knows he's being misled, and he catches him out until it's too late.
The whole like kind of conflict is like he's very devoutly Catholic, and he goes to this small island off the coast of Scotland, and all these people, he's looking for this missing girl, and all the locals are giving him like
they're pretending to help him, but not really.
They're kind of being very cagey. Yeah, and then he finds out there's like some sort of maybe pagan kind of thing going on, which is like, and it just gets really dark and weird, and it's also kind of like a musical because the people on this island, they sing a lot of songs and it's just everyone's a banger. They're just so catchy.
There's a lot of like dancing. There's a lot of kind of like some like jigs and reels in like the pub, and then like dancing and like folk music. And
it's so good.
Even throughout, like even without all like the procession-y kind of stuff. And the more formal ritual kind of stuff. Yeah, it is very musical. And I just like, they don't make movies like this anymore, James.
No, it's so good. Yeah. And did you watch the 4K?
No, I just watched it Blu-ray.
Do you know what version it was?
Was the final cut? Yeah.
Because there is the theatrical cut, the final cut, and I think the director's cut. I don't even know if that's the right like name for it, because it's more like the extended version. It's like the longest version. I still haven't seen that version. I've seen the theatrical, but the last few times I watch it's been the final cut, and I think I like that version the best from memory. It's not that much different from the theatrical. It just changes a couple of the order of a couple of scenes, adds a couple of cut scenes. But yeah, I think it's worth...
Everything about this movie was more dangerous than I expected it to be. Like the amount of nudity, the amount of like...
because... And we talk about it like when a new movie comes out and people are like, oh, this is so crazy and over the top, and then we watch it and we're always disappointed because it doesn't feel dangerous.
No, and this movie felt dangerous.
You watch an old 70s, 80s like movie and you're like, oh yeah, this is what it's supposed to feel like. It's supposed to feel like a bit raw.
Remember when we talked about Black Christmas?
Yeah.
Like I think
It's
we talked about it. I was like, that movie made me uncomfortable.
This is probably a bad example, but I think it's come up before in this type of discussion. You know, the substance. Everyone went crazy. It's so gory and crazy and over the top, and Demi Moore gets naked.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of shrugged my shoulders. I'm like, whatever. But you watch like these older movies, and you're like, you get that feeling of like, am I supposed to be watching this? You watch Videodrome or Cruising or The Exorcist or Wicker Man, and you're like, should they have made this? Are we allowed to be? Should I be watching this?
Like, it's just the whole movie is just that threatening aura, just the undercurrent of like just
the whole thing is just strange and
Skinamarink was dangerous. But that's a conversation.
In a way, yeah.
That's a conversation people are ready for.
Yeah. Maybe in 40 years.
But yeah, I was just, everything about The Wicker Man caught me by surprise. As someone who'd never seen it before, I just assumed it was going to be safe.
I think Callum would love it because you know it's got
I'll get on it.
Yeah, it's 100% like one of the greatest movies ever. One of the greatest horror movies.
Yeah, like, you know, Christopher Lee. I just assumed it was going to be kind of tame in comparison to today's standards.
Yeah.
But no, it was the opposite.
Yeah, and because Christopher Lee did so many movies, he did a lot of Hammer movies, like lower budget, like kind of maybe cheesier movies. Like maybe you might think, oh yeah, it's like one of the old Hammer movies, but it's like it's a bit more. It also, without spoiling, it has one of the greatest endings of all time.
Yeah,
like peak.
Yeah, it is peak.
So good.
And then I watched The Last Sacrifice, which is the new last year documentary about the Wicker Man and the surrounding kind of.
It's about the real life crime that inspired the.
In a way, yeah.
The story of the Wicker Man, yeah.
So it's about a murder in a small rural English village that allegedly inspired the movie.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a ritualistic killing in a small English town that kind of, you know, and it was like but the movie's really about the explosion of witchcraft and paganism in rural England in like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, and like people being like, you know,
thanks, Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, like pearl clutching and be like, oh, are there Satanists secretly, you know, in the shadows? Are there witches' covens? Like it was like a popular.
Yeah, and it's fun. So, and the answer is kind of did happen.
Well, the movie itself, the documentary itself, kind of just examines, like, I guess, a place in time related to the movie, and they talk about the movie in the lens of this kind of stuff, but it's just really interesting to think about that in the 60s, 50s and 60s, there would have been people alive that would remember time before the car, and, you know, in places like England, Scotland, you know, Ireland to an extent, pre-industrial, like each town was its own community. They didn't have that much exposure to the outside world, so they would have had their own local cultural customs. They would have had some pagan elements in their day-to-day life with standing stones and, you know, just myths and fairy tales of their own local area. So it doesn't surprise me to an extent that some of those people, especially at the time, had some of those views, right? Especially the older people. They would have believed in some weird shit, right?
Still do.
Yeah.
And some of them probably still do, because when your community is that closed off from the rest of the world, you have your own traditions. And so that's where
it used to be very common.
Yeah, and so that's where the kind of the folk horror comes in, because to an extent it was a real thing. You go into these small towns as an outsider, they're not going to accept you. They're going to look at you differently. They're not going to trust you because you might look at them weirdly with their customs. So I really appreciated the kind of the documentary is a very good back-to-back watch with The Wicker Man.
Yeah, I watched it as well, like after I watched Wicker Man.
Yeah, I kind of really appreciated that element of it. Well, they bring it more into witches, but I think if you view it from the lens of like some of these older people they talk to, they probably would have been in the communities where some of that weird stuff was commonplace anyway.
Yeah. Well, they talk to people who are, you know,
Witches
proclaimed to be real witches, and
I like the scene at the end, but with the interview with a man who was on a very popular children's show.
Which
Teletubby guy.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing about that story, and it's like the whole and the
whole area where the Teletubbies was filmed is like an area, you know, where the veil is thin and like it's a bit weird there, and
creepy
the energy
stuff happens.
And they talk about the energy. Yeah. There's a lot of energy.
We've talked about it had Lovecraftian before.
Yeah. I think
I think it's good.
Yeah, The Last Sacrifice was an interesting watch, but I think the actual crime like that inspired, it's a very small part of the documentary, and then it kind of drags on for a while.
It meanders around.
Yeah, and then it kind of, and then I got interested more in the end. It's like, it's more just about the
environment at the time.
Yeah, like like maybe from 1900 to 1960 or whatever. It's like there were all these cases in England of like, not a satanic panic, but that kind of thing, and like,
100%.
witches and like
Seeing
Aleister Crowley,
the black
and
dogs, and
there was there's all these
vampires and
So it's like just about the supernatural kind of.
Well, it's really
things that were
interesting.
going
So
on.
this is a conversation for another episode entirely. But if this is the kind of thing you're interested in, there's a book that deals with a lot of this stuff called Children for the Devil by Tim Tate, I believe. But it's literally about like satanic murders and stuff in the 60s and that type of thing.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's cool.
honestly, it's a tough read because it goes into detail on a lot of the very traumatic experiences people went through. But when you hear people talk about satanic panic and you're like, bullcrap. The church was just scared of Dungeons and Dragons. Well, apparently there were a lot more abuses and a lot more murders than were reported on because people were uncomfortable releasing the details to the media because it's like, well, how do you explain it? And it's like this book, he collected all the, like, it's like a really big book, and it's just like facts. Like this person went to trial, here's their testimony, here's what the children's hospital had to say about it, blah, blah, blah. It's awful to read. Like, it's like the most interesting stuff you'll ever read because it's a first-hand account of, like, actual Satanism in the world. But the flip side is, like I said, it's a tough thing to get through.
It's an interesting topic because, there might be like real Satanists or, real witches or whatever doing murders or whatever, sacrifices or whatever. But I think, then there is the satanic panic kind of like the
it's obfuscation,
the conservative pearl clutching of like everything that we don't like has to be now banned. And they use that obviously to control people, like what they're doing now in the government. But also,
there's
like,
also an element.
Then there were killers who would stage a satanic crime scene around their murder to throw off the fact that they were just a crazy person. Or
there's also the fact that, like, there's also people that may, be schizophrenic, have other mental disorders. It's not necessarily organized satanic ritual, and they're just saying, the devil told me to kill this guy, right? And
mental illness plays a role.
Mental illness plays a role too, and that's maybe not talked about enough, I guess, in some of these cases where it's like, oh no, the devil's real, and he'd made this guy kill. It's like, no, that guy may have already had pre-existing mental illness.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you can't attribute everything to an organized...
Or he's not crazy, but he's pretending to be crazy to get off, light a sentence or whatever. Like
the devil. Cue the X-Files button.
Son of Sam.
You know what other banger came out in 1973, Nathan?
What?
The Three Musketeers.
Oh, good segue.
Yeah. And this was in the era where they would film movies back to back. So the Three Musketeers was part of a duology, Three Musketeers and Four Musketeers. They were filmed at the same time, but Four Musketeers was released in 1974. But presumably they were filmed both in 1973. And so I'll be treating them as one long film, I guess, just for the ease of conversation. It was directed by Richard, and I forgot. Give me 1 second.
Lester?
Apologies. Yes. And it has a pretty stacked cast. Michael York, Raquel Welch, Oliver Reed, Richard Chamberlain, Christopher Lee, Frank Finley. So it's got a good olden years yesteryear cast. Now I've read the book. I really enjoy the book. I think the book is one of the great swashbuckling adventures of all time. I haven't read The Man in the Iron Mask, but I'll get there. But yeah, the movie is a pretty great straight adaptation of the novel. So the Three Musketeers starts with a really trippy, awesome, synth-heavy kind of intro sequence, which shows D'Artagnan sparring with his father as his father's preparing to let him go off into the world. And it has these trippy after image effects as they spar, and it looks like it could be something out of like David Lynch's Dune, kind of like I could see it fitting into that universe. And then of course the movie kicks into gear, and it's 1970s version of the 1800s or whatever. 1700s.
Yes.
Anyway, I won't meander too long. Retelling the story because it's a pretty classic story.
Yeah, everyone knows. Three Musketeers.
But it's set in France about some noble men who go and work for the king and whatnot. The first film is not. It's good. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was kind of slow. The plot didn't draw me in as much as I thought it would. The performances are really good, especially Porthos. I believe the actor I can't remember the actor who plays Porthos off the top of my head, but I feel like he has the most charismatic performance out of the whole bunch.
Frank Finley played Porthos.
Yeah, like in both the films, he has like the best performance in my opinion. I also love movies where if you call someone a drunk, like, all right, you're in for a fight.
Yeah.
Are you drunk? What did you say to me?
You dishonor me, sir.
Yeah.
Slap him with the
and
glove.
you get a bit of that in these films, so that's pretty fun. But it's like, it's got great rolling hills and galloping horses and sword fights and stuff. But the real action, the real excitement is in the Four Musketeers. The highlight of the Three Musketeers film is there's a dog actor who's like locked into the scene. He's like looking, whatever he's supposed to be looking at in the distance for the camera, he's looking at. And the actor is trying to give him some food. He's like, nah, he's a working dog. But so that made me laugh when I watched it. I was like, that's hilarious. He's like trying to get, he's got like red meat and he's like doing this to the dog. And the dog's like, no, he's locked in. But the Four Musketeers, which has D'Artagnan as like a part of the group now.
Yeah.
Because he kind of becomes one at the end of Three Musketeers. Is like, everything I liked about Three Musketeers turned up to 10. So the swashbuckling is way more swashbuckling. The romance ratcheted it up. The costumes, like the costumes in Three Musketeers are good, but I feel like the world building and the costumes in Four Musketeers are like even better. There's like great pyro, like buildings on fire, and it just looks great. I had watched on the 4K, by the way. So like the colors pop so nicely. Because it was, I don't know what, like they shot it on some some kind of lens or whatever, but with the 4K restoration, the film made it so that some of the colors pop real bright, even though like it kind of looks washed out, but then someone will like walk across and their uniform will just be like bang. So even though like some of the lighting doesn't look particularly great in some scenes, the way that some of the colors like really stand out, like it kind of like balances that in my opinion. But some of the dark scenes look incredible with like what they've done with the restoration. But yeah, Four Musketeers is now like one of my top 20 favorite films because like, it was exciting. I had so much fun with it. I said it's like we talk about these new movies and we're like, oh yeah, it was good, I guess. And then you go back and you watch, like Nathan was saying, Wicker Man, 1973. Yeah. Again, these movies filmed in 1973. I was like holding my head like, oh my god.
They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, legit. Yeah, absolute cinema. I'd like to watch like 10 more of these films, like the Musketeers going on adventures in the French countryside.
There are so many Three Musketeers movies.
Yeah, but they're not all like that, James.
Yeah, they're not all the Richard Lester. Yeah,
but yeah.
They made. I went to see. They had a couple years ago. They had like a 2-part Three Musketeers, like a actual French movie adaptation. Those are pretty good. I went to see those. And then I wanted to go back and watch the other adaptations, but I haven't had a chance. But sounds like I should definitely go back to the 70s ones.
And Lady De Winter, like one of the great nemesises. She just looks so like the actress, Raquel Welch. Oh my god, I keep stuffing up today. Let me see. Yeah, Raquel Welch. I think that's her. No. I'm losing my mind.
So we'll go to a very quick break.
That's okay.
It doesn't matter. Keep going.
Absolute menace.
Faye Dunaway plays Milady.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Absolute menace on the screen. Commanding presence. Like the kind of villain that you'd be lucky to get in any film. And it was like, she was just like, okay, I'll do it. And then she did it. And like, do you know what I mean? Like in the old days, like you just watch a movie and you'd be like, wow. And it's like, well, that's what they did back then. That, not all of them, but.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I was hyped up about that. So go watch these 1973 classics because, man, they hold up so well. Especially, we're so lucky that these movies are still able to be restored. Do you know what I mean? How many movies we've lost over the years because the materials weren't kept properly or whatnot. It's like at least we've got these on 4K. Thank God. Much like Angel's Egg.
Ah, yeah, good segue.
I've heard a lot about this movie, and I've watched it this afternoon.
Yeah, I watched it as well.
Talk about depressing films.
Yeah. Angel's Egg is a anime movie from 1985, which is one of those anime that if you're even like halfway interested in film and like animated, Japanese movies, you've probably heard of. And it's one I meant to watch for years and years and years. Just never got around to.
It's a cult
classic. I heard it's very cult classic. I heard it was weird. I heard it was kind of sad.
I've seen it described on Letterboxd, and which is very accurate as anime by the way of Tarkovsky.
Definitely, it definitely has Tarkovsky vibe.
That's a great way to talk about it.
100%.
It definitely has that kind of aesthetic and vibe and feel
philosophical
of like
meandering.
Eastern European kind of like impoverished, suffering Russian film director who's like, I'll make an anime.
Do you imagine?
Like, that's the best way I can express this kind of movie to someone.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to put it. It's definitely got that, like Soviet art film vibe by way of anime. So it's basic. There's very little dialogue. It's basically
like 57 minutes, I think. It's not very long.
I think it's 70 minutes.
Yeah,
it's like an hour and 10.
It's 70 minutes.
Still not
without spoiling
long.
anything. I think it's worth watching without being spoiled.
You can't really,
as much.
You can't really spoil it because
like I have my own interpretation of events, which Nathan thinks is kind of reductionist.
I think
it's like you can't really spoil it because it's nobody can really tell you what happened.
The basic premise is just a little girl wakes up in some sort of desolate.
And she has an egg.
Kind of
city.
Yeah, it's like abandoned city. She has an egg with her that she wants to protect, and she basically goes on a journey and meets a
man who comes out of a big old machine tank.
Yeah, and he's got this cross weapon thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just they go on.
He never uses it.
Yeah, well, he does at the end technically. But yeah, it's like they just go on this journey. They don't really say a lot. There's a little bit of dialogue, but a lot of it is just there's like a philosophical, existential, like who am I? Who are you? Where are we? And you don't know what's in the egg. You don't know what's going on in this world, and it's basically a it's like whatever you bring to the film is like how you are going to interpret it. There's no real plot. There's no exposition. It's like you basically just interpret it the way you want to, and the director.
And he kind of made it that way on purpose.
Exactly. Yeah, Mamoru Oshii, who also I think he did the Ghost in the Shell movie. So he's one of the great anime
slight difference
directors.
In vibes.
Yeah, but he's like one of the great anime directors. And the way he made it is just like he's not trying to explain it. It's like just a weird kind of thing that you interpret.
It's like a world building philosophical exercise.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you approach it in that way, you can get a lot out of it because it's like don't try and understand everything you see. Just try and interpret it based on how it makes you feel and what you're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, and I've seen like
David Lynch would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen varying interpretations, and I'm like, I can see how both of those could be valid. Like, I don't have
but there's also the surface level reading of like what actually happens on screen.
Yeah,
which is relatively straightforward.
Yeah, but it's also.
But yeah, people have to deconstruct things and.
Yeah, but it's also like. What's happening is weird and it's not grounded in reality. It's a fantasy movie basically.
Yeah.
And the animation for the most part's like really nice, but it's probably in compared to something like Akira or it's like it's not as lavishly.
So I actually did a little bit of digging into this. And I was reading that when this film was released, it was originally released as like a video release. It wasn't like it had a small theatrical run.
Okay.
But when they made it, it was made as a just
like an OVA.
It was literally an OVA. That's right. So when they made it, it was made for VHS release.
So the budget probably wasn't that big.
No, and
that
so
probably makes sense of why it's only 70 minutes too.
Yeah, and so what was funny, I was reading about.
Was that the limit of the VHS, standard VHS?
No,
just one side?
it could go longer.
I think it could go longer, but yeah, most OVAs were.
But what's funny is that like a lot of the OVAs and a lot of the shows that were made at the time were made for CRT televisions. So like some of the animation when they were doing it, because they knew that they were releasing it to an audience that would be looking at it through CRTs. They would do some tricks where it's like, you know, they would draw it in a certain way so it would look better on the CRT. So what happens when you take some of these and you upscale them to 4K is you can see some interesting artifacts in the line work or whatnot. And I paused one frame. I was like, that looks kind of weird. And then I was looking into it and I was like Neon Genesis apparently was also like created for like CRT, because like when it was all this was coming out,
show,
we were going to be watching it on a CRT television because 4K didn't exist. High scale Blu-ray players didn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's funny when you see something like this that's remastered, re-released, you can see little, like, not differences, but like some of the line work doesn't look particularly straight at times. And I looked up and it's like, yeah, it's like some of these visual imperfections that you'll see were they never originally intended people to see it because it was going to be viewed through the filter. It was just one of those interesting little things.
Yeah, and I mean, even, you know, I mean, budget, obviously, anime is ridiculously expensive, and, you know, this one's probably on the lower end of the budget spectrum, so that plays into it. But yeah, they never expected people to be watching this in extremely high definition and like pausing every frame and being like, oh, look, I can see the cell, like corner of the cell. Yeah, but I think it's, for the most part, what I was saying is like, I think it's still a good looking movie.
Oh, beautiful.
The designs, like, you know, if you know Mamoru Oshii's other films, like he's very good, you know, designer, and, you know, has really cool kind of steampunky, cyberpunky, gothic-y,
in a weird way,
industrial, weird.
It's also like, I saw someone refer to it as having a Dark Souls energy.
Yeah.
Well, I've never played Dark Souls, but apparently, like, those games are very inspired by Angel's Egg.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. In a kind of cool way, I'm also like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'd like Batman in that city. Like, it's got that
Yeah, it's got a dark Gotham-y.
Batman would dominate. And
yeah. Especially the bit with the fishermen. It's like they're repelling with their things. Yeah. It's just a really weird, sort of arty, spiritual kind of existential.
I think it's, look, hot take, I think it's slightly overhyped.
I think I'd agree. I think if I saw this when I was a teenager, I would have loved it a lot more. Watching it now, I appreciated it and I really liked it, but it didn't blow me away. Yeah. I think it's
good for its time and what it it's.
Yeah, I also think I appreciate that it's like there is the element of you can imprint on it what you can take. It's so vague that you can sort of put your own interpretations on it. But I think it's overall,
groundbreaking in its own way. And
overall, I was like, maybe there's maybe too little there. Yeah. Where I was like, maybe this is too much of a blank page for me to. Yeah.
I think that, like, I'm glad. So the reason I bring it up is because it's a relatively new restoration coming out early this year or last year.
Recently,
year.
Through Umbrella.
Yeah, Umbrella released the 4K.
And I'd never seen it, and I gave it 4 stars and a heart because I really dig the type of philosophical, pure world building exercise that's Angel's Egg, because it's not like a lot of these like big things that people love so much. Normally they're like maybe based on a manga or something like that, and it's like there is a story for them to like adhere to, and if you want more, you can go and read the source material and whatever. But with this one, it was just an exercise of building something, like you said, very little dialogue, very surreal. Just wanted to make a movie that people could enjoy and kind of just contemplate. So I really appreciated that because it got my creativity flaring, which is kind of what film like this should do. It should make you thinking, wow, that's cool. Let me extrapolate on that. What does this mean? Not what does it mean, but like, how else does this work? How many times does things like this happen? Like, you know, your mind starts racing. You're thinking about the world. So in terms of movies that provoke imagination, this is one of the best examples of that. But I feel like you boys, where it's like, at the end of the film, I was like, well, the stuff I'm interested in is not going to be explained. I have to come to terms with that. And it's also kind of a shorter film, so I wasn't fulfilled on that from that angle. And it's like, that's it. It's done. So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's nowhere else for you to go now. Yeah. Which is an unfulfilling feeling when you're dealing with something like this, because normally there's a lot more to go on. Yeah. And because it's such a blank page, you can look up, like you were saying, you can look up interpretations, but
Yeah,
every
think-
interpretation's valid and every interpretation is going to be different.
Yeah,
so
that's one of my kind of issues was like usually with a movie like this where you're like, oh wow, there's a lot of symbolism or you know, it's not the movie's not really telling me. I have to, you know, sort of figure it out for myself. And so normally a movie like that, you'd go back and you'd rewatch it and you'd find all these new things. But it's like, I feel like I got most of it on the first watch and I would like to watch it again one day. But I'm like, I don't think it's like other movies where it's like, oh, there's so much there it's so rich and it's so detailed and I got to go through and like figure out what I missed and what does this mean. I feel like, it is mostly just a blank page. And you bring what you already have to it. And so, I think it's definitely worth watching, especially if you're an anime fan. And just as a cult movie, you know, when everyone talks about how weird and you know,
I've seen weirder, but
but you know, it's one of those movies that you hear, it's like, oh, it's so weird.
I know.
And it's like, so you kind of, it's like, oh yeah, I have to watch this. So I guess we finally got around to it. And it's good, I guess.
Would find an egg.
We're just about all out of time for tonight. Thanks for listening, everyone. You can catch the Tuesday Review on some of the social media stuffs at Tuesday Review AU on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Blue Sky Newsmast, TikTok. But we haven't posted any of the TikToks yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we're on there, so follow us along.
At Tuesday Review AU on all
Tuesday
platforms.
Review AU on all platforms. Keep an eye on our website for when we get off our bums and do some work.
Yep.
We've still got some work to do setting that up. It'll happen.
It's still janky, but
it exists.
It's there. TuesdayReview.com. Make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell for our YouTube page. That's also at Tuesday Review AU.
We're also on Letterboxd. I'm Nathan B _90.
I'm channeldrifter.
And I'm Callum Tuesday.
And
and we're almost at episode 300. So if you're listening and you have any ideas about what we should do,
I already had an idea.
Okay, we'll talk about our fair. Because
You're not gonna
I have no idea. Oh, okay. Well,
Tom Cruise impersonator on the show.
Don't say that because now we kind of have to do. All right, let's talk. We'll see how much it costs. All right, if you're listening and you have a better idea than that, please let us know, DMS or comment or whatever.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back next week. Adios, cousins.